So I'll kick it off with what worked for me. So this movie has a lot of inclusivity
Hmm.
in it. It focuses on everything from body type to
Huh.
sexuality and everything, but it doesn't focus on it. So it just is. I feel they do it right. They did it so much better than Disney did it, and I was
Mm.
actually surprised because they didn't call attention to it. They didn't say, "Hey, I'm the trans Barbie. Hey, I'm the overweight body type Barbie," or anything like that. It wasn't about that. It just was. And that to me worked a lot better than the bullshit that they do in Disney movies or the shows, particularly Star Wars, where it just sticks out like a sore thumb.
Mm.
This just, it worked with the tone that they had gone for.
Yeah. Yeah. There was a bit of finger pointing at the beginning of this movie that I did
Okay.
notice. But not in like a bad way. It was very comedic how they did it when they were like, also they had so and so. She was the pregnant Barbie. They discontinued it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But yeah, definitely. Like the whole beginning to this movie was really cool because they showed you the evolution of Barbie.
Yeah.
And I'm not gonna lie, the ending was kind of fucking lit. They were like, and then there was Barbie, and those girls go fucking ham destroying those baby dolls.
Yeah, yeah. I like that evolution. You see how much Barbie actually means. Like there were
Yeah,
the baby dolls, and then there were the Barbie dolls. And
yeah,
Barbie was like on some different shit, like doing all the things that women at that time couldn't do.
yeah. Just quickly as well. So that wall of Barbies that we saw at the premiere,
Hmm.
some of those were vintage fucking Barbies as well.
Damn it. Someone
Because
should have
obviously
got like,
didn't leave for something, did you?
yeah,
If I was leaving with anything, I'm taking that fucking dream car from the middle of that Barbie wall because that should look like how it was made out of gunmetal or something.
yeah, that was a legit Barbie dream car.
Like, if you were to throw that thing, someone's dying if there's impact with someone. For me, what worked was how they actually set up the Barbie land as well as the real world.
Hmm.
Like, I enjoyed that transition between the two. And as well as that, there was enough, like, grounded shit there that it felt real enough to, like, hey, maybe there is a Barbie land out there. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
yeah,
But I also really enjoyed the transition from Barbie land to the real world and back.
yeah,
It's all this set order of like, it's all of the ads for all of the dream vehicles as well. And it's
yeah, yeah,
in succession like that. And to go back, you got to do it backwards.
yeah.
Yeah, that was cool. Another big thing for me was the comedy in this movie. Some
Hmm.
of it fell flat for me, but a lot of the comedy, with like Ken and anything introducing the other Kens, I thought was fucking great. And as well as how they
Yeah,
pictured the whole, okay, so she's on the top of a roof, and we don't just watch Barbie walk down some stairs. You obviously place her at the bottom of the her house and shit like that. I was like, this is
yeah.
kind of cool.
So that Barbie land was almost like kids playing with Barbie.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, yeah, man, that fucking it did hit. The performances and the chemistry between, so just going back to how the Ken sort of introduced themselves and everything,
Yeah.
performances are on point in this.
Yeah.
Like there was no one that was sort of just lagging behind or just phoning it in or whatnot. They were just like they were working it. Gosling in particular. So Gosling for me, everyone does like a really stellar job. But Gosling for me just shines. Like he leaned so far into the absurdity of this concept,
Yeah.
and it just works. For me, he ties it all together,
Yeah.
and he gets plenty of screen time. And the O is in some fucking shape. I tell you that,
Unbelievable shape.
immaculate shape. Like
Batman
there's
and
a
shit.
reason why his abs were on all the promo material.
Yeah, Batman shaped dog. Like, there's a picture of this guy when he's sitting on his bed shirtless at night, and this guy is just shredded and huge.
Yeah, the abs are sticking out from a sitting position, mate.
But as well as that, his chest is so big, and it's almost like it just forms into his shoulders as well.
Yeah, he does have a superhero physique.
Mm.
Yeah.
He's got them PX90 abs.
He looks like Batman's suit in Arkham Asylum, how it's the chest and abs. He looks
Yeah.
like that without the suit.
Yeah.
It's fucking huge.
I'm willing to pay that there is no one on this earth that actually got P90X abs.
P90X. What the fuck is PX90? That's like a gun or something, a GoldenEye or some shit.
That's the P90, my friend. 80 bullets in that max.
Yeah. What else worked for me? I think you talked about the humor, performances, all that. Yeah, the aesthetics as well.
Yeah. Also felt like I'm sorry, dog. You go. I fucking cut you off.
No, that was it.
Oh, cool. I felt like there wasn't any unused performances as well. Like, sometimes you get arcs that just get cut off fucking completely in movies. All the characters that were introduced had their own story, and it was all provided from start to finish with their arc as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's funny when you think about it now, after all the hate's dissipated, you can actually think about it.
Yeah. I mean, there is a lot of artistry, and the intention is there, and they've obviously put together a quality movie. And where it sort of falls down for me, and maybe we segue into what didn't work, unless you have anything else.
That's good.
So where it falls down for me is the ideologies behind it. Like, they could have changed this from Barbie the movie to Gaslighter the movie.
Yeah.
So they're in the plot, because when Ken goes to the real world, he realizes that men have a lot more prominent role in the world, right? And he takes that back to Barbie Land to create patriarchy in Barbie Land, because Barbie Land has been ruled by the Barbies since forever.
Yeah.
And the way that they kind of do that is through some 1920s type, really dated and really, really, what's the word? Fuck. It's like sort of the obvious thing that you would do.
Yeah.
Tropes.
Yeah.
Like the construction workers and men in offices that like control the company and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And through this, the Barbies eventually get control over Barbie Land again. Fine. There is no acknowledgement of the manipulation that the Barbies, had sort of used the Kens for throughout this whole process.
Yeah.
And there's no acknowledgement of, no, I did not want anything with you. It was the message at the end of it for Kens, and I'm assuming there's going to be little boys and little girls going to go see this as well, because it's Barbie. The message was, you need to go fix yourself. Go work your stuff out. Go find out who Ken is. And for me, it was just a real sour kind of endpoint for it.
Yeah.
And it threw me off, because this whole time, yes, Ken was there by your side, but now, Ken, you need to go figure yourself out.
Yeah. That it's a lot to it's too oversimplified, if that makes sense. Like the whole, because I do understand that at the beginning of this movie, and fucking Ken says it in the movie too. He's like, all I ever wanted was your gaze. He was there for Barbie 100%. Like, and that's all he wanted was Barbie. But she was very like, every night is girls' night. You can go home now. Like, just brushing him off the whole time.
Yeah.
And then with her explanation of you need to find yourself is like find like what you want to do, what Ken wants to do. But the way they really approach it is just very shit. And this is what I mean by oversimplified is that they don't explain, what is Ken meant to find? Is he just meant to go like bareback some bitches and then just get on with his fucking life and go discover himself? Like, is he meant to go to Europe? Like, what's he meant to do?
Yeah.
Transition.
I didn't feel that Ken was kind of like sort of handled well at the end there.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, if Ken's whole thing is I'm enough, like you know what I mean? Like there's this thing about men trying to sort of reach a certain ceiling or try to break through a ceiling, but
Mm.
Ken's got to be enough. It just felt very sort of left off at the end
Yeah.
and really shallow. Yeah.
Yeah. It really leans into that couple like that ideology of the man is the stupid one in a relationship. And I hate
Yeah.
that thought. And I remember speaking to you like about this in the car where I don't like to feel stupid. I don't think I'm stupid. I think I'm pretty fucking smart at times. And, I don't like to be that guy who's just like an addition, like I'm an accessory to a relationship instead of being a significant part of it.
Yeah.
Because that's not fair
100%.
at all. That's not equality.
Yeah. I mean,
They don't
another.
want equality, right? Sounds like they don't want equality. They want to rule, is what it is. Because they couldn't come to terms with being equal with Ken. Why was it okay
Yeah.
when Ken was the shit kicker and all that sort of stuff?
Mm.
It
That's what I
sounds like
wanted to
they
say.
also
Yeah.
don't take accountability for their actions either.
Yeah.
Yeah. There isn't any accountability, and I know this is satirical,
Hmm.
but yeah, to your point, the equality piece. I wish there was something in there that ties in how men and women sort of add equal shares to a relationship and to the world.
Oh
To me,
Yeah.
yeah.
that works. You know what I mean? And I'm in a relationship now, 15 years strong, where like we both add something to the relationship, and it doesn't matter the pay packet or the duties or whatnot. We share everything
Yeah.
It,
because
it
that's
it
how life works for us.
it's crazy, right? So we were essentially back in the day when this whole thing started, we were hunter gatherers, right? The gatherers would in theory gather all like everything and take care of the kids. They were obviously doing more work than the hunters, right? But the hunters were doing the dangerous work. But the hunters needed the gatherers, and the gatherers needed the hunters. We are symbiotic beings. We need partners in our life to sort of balance us. We can't do this shit by ourselves.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, 100% agree.
Yeah.
Like,
Same.
if that's not the message that's sort of pushing out, that they're talking about taking over, then or
Yeah.
wanting to take over.
And I don't attribute that to Greta Gerwig at all. I know she's the director, but Noah Baumbach is also the co-writer. And Shadow has like he's got a history with
100%.
writing like sort of
100%.
tortured men in roles. And I am all for an arc. But this
Yeah.
arc just felt really sort of left off. I actually liked this idea that Ken and Barbie didn't get together at the end.
Yeah.
I like to me that was reflective of shit that happens in real life. It's also a marriage
Yeah.
story, really, and that's where I was sort of going with this, like these tortured sort of adults and
Yeah.
whatnot.
The thing that has now popped up as well, I don't know if it's true, I don't know if it's rumor as well, is that Ken's getting his own show now too.
I
And
hope not.
That's
Watch that.
that's what I read. And if that is the case, it sounds like it might be true, or it could be true because of like the Ken and Barbie not being together and him having to find himself.
Yeah, that's gonna make millions. Everyone's gonna go watch that shit. If people are gonna go see
100%.
this,
The Ken movie?
yeah.
I
All
would
right,
go watch
guys.
the Barbie movie before I go watch the Ken movie. I got to tell you,
Right.
Ken was always a good player.
Yeah, but that's why they want to like. That's why they gave him this arc. Then, if the idea is for him to then go off, Gosling is making millions off of this. Gosling
Yeah.
will play Ken for the next 20 years if he wanted to.
If that cuck Noah Baumbach bloody wrote the Barbie movie, then I need Andrew Tate to write the Ken movie.
Imagine Ken comes back with that cobra tattoo.
Fucking based.
Always sweaty.
I don't want that bald, bulgy-eyed Cobra Tate anywhere the fuck near these movies. Because the other thing that didn't work for me is who the fuck is this movie for? Because, like, it's obviously women, right? That's the demographic. Great. But it didn't feel like a kid's movie. Aesthetically, it worked as a kid's movie and, like, how zany it was. But it didn't, like, the jokes weren't for kids.
No.
All that shit is flying over their head. They've got quips in there about gynecology and different bits and pieces that are very adult, and existential crisis and depression and whatnot, and feminism. This is for the adult woman. That's what it's geared for, but it's packaged as a kids movie.
I don't see kids paying attention this whole movie. This is an hour and 54 minutes as well. This is a lot.
That's not a kid's like movie length pause either.
Yeah. How to Train Your Dragon is an hour and 28 minutes, dog.
That's
The
fucking
perfect.
It really is. Under 90? Anything
action
under
packed.
90.
Yeah. Straight
Give
to
me a
the point.
70-minute kids movie.
Oh, man.
Booyah. Troll in Central Park? You know about it, son.
Yeah, man.
This
That was
guy's
7
like the
minutes.
Hudson Hawk
Yeah.
of kids movies.
But look,
there you go.
like, as a disclaimer as well, for anyone who is listening, like, we are just reviewers of these movies. We're not the fucking sole handlers of this shit as well. We understand that you may get angry at some of our like comments about this film, but there are heaps of other reviewers out there who probably love this shit. So it's not just us two. And we're not just shitting on this movie to shit on it. We're actually providing like proper feedback. And this is just how we like it.
Ken is a fucking GoBot compared to Barbie. Why didn't you make a movie about that? That is the dumbest thing I ever heard. Who was
You know
giving
which
these
Ken?
people money?
Oh, Warner. Warner is like throwing money at this, but it's poised to make $150 million this weekend.
Yeah.
Yeah.
$150 million.
It's going to open up 89 million in the US.
At least.
Yeah.
At least.
Do you reckon they call the sequel Malibu Barbie?
Malibu, yeah.
But yeah, I mean, that's all I can really think of. The ideology killed me, and this might be the quote that I'm murdered for, right? But it seems like the only man accepted in Barbie Land transitioned to a Barbie.
Right.
And I'm all for whatever you want to be, but it just hit a little hard for me.
Yeah.
Okay. But yeah, I accept that she's a woman. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. I think, like, looking at this film, you really can see why they made the real world very masculine as well. It's because they wanted to culture shock Barbie when she came through, obviously, because it's the first time she's going to the real world. but it was just like you said, very much so. Remember, like the cartoons of the construction workers just catcalling women and shit like that. I didn't need to see it. Like
Yeah.
that's not our world now. Like, admittedly, there still are fuckwits out there who will make women feel uncomfortable as they're walking past, or just anyone feel uncomfortable. You could have some unsavory fellows down the way, if you could
That's
say.
absolute shit. Absolute and utter bullshit. 100%. Do you want to know why? Because women will
What?
post that same outfit on fucking IG so they can get a fucking response out of people. Don't fucking play those games.
I don't think it's utter shit. I've seen girls that are friends with that they'll come home from bowling and they'll be in their uniform and guys will just follow them down the road.
That's follow. We're talking about whistling and whatnot.
And they be whistling too, dog.
Yeah.
Like, there's some fuck shit out there with some people on.
But it's not happening for everyone. Like
I
they
know.
make it out.
I know.
Oh, but
There's still events where it can occur.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I'm saying that girls welcome this shit now. Some girls welcome this shit now on IG. They will post thirst traps so they can get that fucking endorphin hit for that fucking those likes and those comments and all that other bullshit. They will do it fucking welcomingly. They'll do it. You can't have it both ways. Which way do you want it?
Yeah, that leads into another argument of those girls who are into that shit as well.
There is the validation piece, and there are women that also like the catcalling. You know what I mean? But when it's not welcome, it's not welcome. And in this, it felt like an outdated stereotype that was cartoonish at best, with the fucking the road workers going, "You got some milk with those cookies?" Yeah.
Yeah,
Who
there was some
fucking
real
talks
weird,
that, bro?
what a script champion.
Well,
And
well,
I
he's
know
not a
that
man,
it's
obviously.
satirical.
He doesn't know what a man can say. So, you know.
And like satirical at best, but it was over the top. And the fact that she says, "I find this world slightly aggressive towards me," and weirdly, I'm sitting there in the cinema halfway through the movie when shit starts to turn, and I'm feeling like this movie is slightly aggressive towards me.
Yeah.
I don't know if that was the intention of putting us in this uncomfortable position, or putting men in this uncomfortable position where, like, yeah, now you hit it. Pause.
Yeah. Yeah, it was a weird, like, just slew of emotions going through that cinema.
Yeah.
There was a lot of
Yeah.
energy running through there. The vibes were, like, just shifting.
Yeah, I did feel like there was some silences where I was just like, "Oh my god!"
Yeah. You could hear the audible gasp.
Yeah, it's like they really did that. Yeah, you got you got anything more of what didn't work for you?
Nah, man.
No?
No.
All right. Favorite character from the movie?
I can start this one off. I'll just get it out the way. Kate McKinnon's Weird Barbie. Yeah, and it was because of, like, her interaction with the real world was a very negative one, because Weird Barbie is the Barbie that was just played with too hard. So the first time you see her, she's all fucked up, her hair's cut, she's got text all over her fucking face. But just her fourth wall breaking style of presentation was really captivating for me. And I felt like it cut through the falseness of Barbie Land enough that I could appreciate it briefly.
100%. 1000% agree with you. I also like the double standard that the bitches in Barbie Land also employed when they called her Weird Barbie behind her back and also to her face.
Yeah.
And that's some real life shit too. Like, I understand that was in your face commentary on also how women operate in the real world.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a solid fucking favorite character. She was a standout, for real. She actually got a lot of screen time.
Yeah.
And I really dug her in this movie, whereas in that Ghostbusters Answer the Call, she was a bit too much for a no.
That was the Chris
Guns
Hemsworth
and
one,
shit
yeah?
like that. Yeah.
I never watched that one.
That's not bad.
Yeah.
It's not a shit movie. I enjoyed that more than this. I'll tell you that much.
The female Ghostbuster movie?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that wasn't bad. Better than Ghostbusters 2. Ghostbusters 2 is a dog shit movie. I'll tell you that
Ghostbusters
much.
2.
You know why? I think it was the
Why?
shift. It was the shift between the PG and PG-13. They got away with so much in that PG version of Ghostbusters, the first one. But I
Yeah.
think if they would have pushed it to a PG-13, would have been over for them as they would have lost a lot of business.
Yeah. Ghostbusters 2 goes full zany.
Yeah,
Like they
yeah,
got
yeah.
like that Biff Pow Poom shit in there.
Yeah,
Those did not. In the first Ghostbusters, they're fucking smoking and shit.
yeah.
Just loved it.
Ray gets
And
blown by a ghost.
Yeah.
does that?
Mans does get the toppy. Supernatural toppy hit different. My favorite character was the narrator, Helen Mirren.
ah,
Helen Mirren fucking killed it. And her timing, her delivery, especially in the bit when they sort of go, Barbie, you look terrible and all, like, because she's lost her zhuzh and her groove and shit like that. And then,
fuck.
what?
I just can't take the word zhuzh seriously.
It just popped into my mind, and I was like, why did you say this? I immediately regret it.
It's because zhuzh, this O that I used to game with, that's what he used to fucking say. He was like, yep, before you get some activity there, lads, put some hot soapy water in the foreskin, close it up, give it a quick zhuzh, and then finish it.
Yeah, right.
All right. Fucking hell.
Give it a quick zhuzh.
The fucking barometric chamber wash.
Badly.
Who just gets the soap exclusively in the foreskin? And the gymnastics to get a good shake out of that? Mate.
Shit.
There would have been a preemptive conversation of who's got 4 in you. All right. Yeah, the line was from Helen Mirren, filmmakers, if you're going to do a storyline about a Barbie looking bad, don't cast Margot Robbie. And yeah, it just hit for a no. Obviously, I don't deliver it quite like Helen Mirren does, but it was funny to me. Funny to me. She's got a lot of off-the-cuff little lines in there. I just liked it.
Yeah.
All right. And that brings us to biggest surprise for you. My biggest surprise is that this movie actually deals with self-worth and purpose. And they elevated Barbie from what could have been just your normal schlocky shopping and pink shoes and sort of surfer shit and delves deep into something that held commentary. They actually had something to say. And it's a serious movie, weirdly. And I think it's got some controversial little quirks there at the end for the second half of the film, but otherwise worked on a technical level. And that, for me, that was the biggest surprise because I was like, where the fuck are you going to go with a Barbie movie? Nah, they went places. They went places. That was a big surprise for me.
I was expecting Toy Story, if I'm being honest, when I first heard this was coming out.
They could never. You could never top Keaton. Keaton as Ken? My man.
Big time. Biggest surprise for me, and fucking really threw me off during this movie, was the end of this movie with the Barbies when they devised a plan to take back Barbie Land from the Kens. Was to like employ just levels of toxic femininity. So I was really like I was taken aback. That's how fucking surprised I was by the scene when they're all like, they're singing the songs with the guitars. The Kens are serenading their Barbies, so they can be their long distance casual girlfriend or whatever the fuck it was. And then they decide to like, oh, now's the time. And then they're like, just give me a second. And they go sit with another Ken to make their Ken jealous and shit like that.
Mm.
I was so surprised and I got so pissed off at the same time.
Yeah,
It fucking really just hit for me.
badly.
Really
Don't
just
ever fuck up a man's flow when he's singing "Push" by Matchbox 20.
fucking oath.
Gosling got some fucking chords on him.
Pause.
Yeah. Fucking vascular in the body and the voice. Pause.
Got
He
boxes
was,
on him.
He was a Disney kid, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
On that Disney Channel. So he was singing and that with the what's his name? Timberlake and Britney Spears and all of them. All of them.
Yeah. The
True.
Mickey Mouse Club O's.
Yeah.
And just as a quick comedic surprise, Ryan Gosling really suits the Platinum Blonde.
He does. He really, really does. Place